Devlog number 5. It took 1 month of development time to complete work for this devlog, even though I'm uploading this video after 2 months. That's because right after devlog 4, I took a month off from the project to recover from the burnout. Plus, I had to work on some other projects during this time. So 1 month of dev time it took to reach this point. Now, let's take a look at what was accomplished. So point number 1 is that approximately 80% of the work that was done during this devlog was fixing bugs and completing the remaining unfinished work from the previous devlog. As a result, the engine is now very stable. Now I'm not going to go over each and every detail of it, as there were like easily 50 plus bugs that were fixed. Point number 2 is that this is the only new feature that was implemented during this devlog, which is the physics character controller from the Jolt physics engine library. I will demo that later in the video. Point 3 is that I completed work on the material and shader system, which now allows me to implement different shaders and connect them to materials and also edit material properties through editor in real time. Point number 4 is that I have removed the separate material editor and shape creator windows and embedded them in the inspector window, similarly to Unity engine, further reducing the clutter in the interface. Point 5 is that now we can create new materials through editor, plus the improved inspector variable assignments to scripts, similarly to how Unity provides support for it in inspector with its C# scripts. So now we can assign different entities, change the properties of a script right in the editor at runtime. The final point is that I'm going to demo a game using all the features that are currently present in the engine to show that how everything works, even though the features are very limited, but still they are enough to prepare a demo. That's point number 6. So here is the updated interface for the editor. Not much was changed except that things were made a bit nicer, such as this bar over the components and these folders, these material icons. Still there is a lot to be done here, but that's the start. Now I'm going to demonstrate how we can create different shapes. So let's create an entity, attach a render component to it. So we have currently a cube geometry by default. We can, let's say if we want to create a different shape, we can select that shape. Here I've selected torus. It shows this outline for the shape. I can change the properties in real time and see the results. And once that is done, I can create the shape. The old shape is gone and the new shape takes over. So this is a very simple process of creating new shapes. I can now add a different material. This is a simple color material. I can click on this material and modify it here in real time, or I can select the material here and see it in isolation in the inspector window, just like that. I can also change the shader. So let's say I've selected the shader. Now this is a shader that works with lighting. So in order to work, let me first assign this material. It's a darker material. It's not dark actually. I will need a light here. So, and not only light, I also need a texture. So from here I can select a texture. Let's select this brick texture. So here we have a simple texture that we can apply to the material and change the shader. I can also create a new material. So this is a completely new material, and let's change its shader as well. And let's apply this texture and then assign this material. This is material number 12 to this torus, and everything just works. Now I'm going to create a bit of a complex shape. So let me first create an empty entity and call it tree. I'm going to make this a child of this tree, and let's create a cylinder. So this is going to be the trunk of the tree. Now I'm going to create a new shape and change the shape. Choose the height. Create. Let's apply a different material to this shape. Now I'm going to duplicate it. Duplicate again. And duplicate one more time. So this is a very basic tree shape. Now I can select the parent, that is this tree entity, and just duplicate it, move it here. So that's how we can create slightly complex shapes using these simple procedural shapes. Later on, I will add in the model file format support, but just using these procedural shapes allows me to design a whole level without thinking too much about modeling it, design the layout of the level, and then later on replace these models with the actual 3D models developed in a separate 3D modeling program. So this feature is really beneficial in this regard. Just testing different lightings. Now I'm going to move on to the final demo. So let's open a different scene. Here we have a completely new scene and play. Here we have a character. I can look at this character in third person perspective. I can move to the first person view. I can move forward, backwards, left and right. I can jump, climb this platform, Everything just works. Another thing I'm going to demonstrate is a trigger. In front of me is as a shape that represents a door. Basically, these are two rectangles that represents a sliding door, and there's a invisible trigger here. So as soon as I move my character into that trigger, it will open up. So let's see. So here is the scripts working in action, and finally I'm going to show you two physics bullets being shot from my gun. So one is going to be the rigid bodies. So let's see that. You can hear the audio in action as well. So these are physics cubes. They react to the environment. So you can see the rigid body physics in action here. And the other is going to be raycast bullets. Now, right now the material is changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the simulation, go and check which material is applied. So here's the material. I'm going to change the shader here, change the color. Also, let me show you one more thing. I can change the properties of the player. So right now the jump is very high, so I'm going to reduce it to 8 only. And another thing here is that I can basically assign different entities here. So if I decide to change, I can drag and drop this entity here for the camera. I'm just showing you how this works. So you can see just like how it's done in Unity. Now I'm going to run the simulation again, and I'm going to now this bullet is visible. So what this is demonstrating, and our jump is a bit lower than before. Previously we could jump this first floor and reach the roof directly, but now we have to go through this slope here. This demonstrates so many features that are working, and one thing you may have noticed is that I didn't close the engine while recording this whole demo, this one as well as the previous one where I showed you modeling and changing of materials. This shows the stability of the engine, and this was only possible after focusing on fixing a lot of bugs and testing the engine from the end user perspective. So in the end, things are looking great. My game engine is now capable of creating simple demos that function without crashing. I was able to work with the engine's editor for approximately 15 minutes without interruption while preparing this demo, and it didn't crash. And also I was able to save progress in the scene file, on which I can always add new stuff later on. For the next Devlog, I'm going to focus on particle systems, UI and prefabs, along with a list of other features that I've already planned. But these 3 features will be the highlight for the next version of the game engine. So that's all for this Devlog. See you in the next one. Thank you.